Hello and welcome to the Best Flarking Podcast. I am Dunners to some, and with me as always is Reeg. But that's not all this time. We also have with us our friend, Big Bro Jamal. Gentlemen, how the heck are you guys?
We good. Jamal, Big Bro, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, guys. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No doubt.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
So, we're here. It's episode 4. There's new stuff going on. I think nothing more important than putting to bed something that had me up all night long, every night. And that's Channing Tatum is officially Gambit. Thank God. Thank God, guys.
What a sigh of relief.
Oh, man.
We were all too worried about that one.
I was waking up in cold sweat, just like, oh, no. Is he going to sign or is he going to leave? Oh, God.
Well, that was our biggest confusion was as to why he would leave. We all saw Comic-Con and what happened there. Dude was rocking a Gambit t-shirt the whole time. It's described as a passion project for him. He was even producer or executive producer on it.
Yep. He's producing on it.
You know, so to walk away or have this spring up was very out of left field, and nobody knew anything given the fact that it was a rumor and there was nothing behind it. So we don't know, but he's on. That's all we do know now.
So now we know officially that we'll get a shot at Gambit in his own solo movie, and hopefully he'll do better than Taylor Kitsch flying around with like helicopter stuff and the X-Men Origins Wolverine. Although I don't blame Taylor Kitsch for his Gambit being terrible. I blame that movie for being terrible. I actually feel kind of bad for Taylor Kitsch in general, just because John Carter of Mars was fucking awesome. But it came out in the same summer, and it was Disney's other movie that summer. And its companion piece was the fucking Avengers. Of course Marvel's not going to pay any real attention to John Carter. And it's also a bummer because like I would read all these reviews about that shit too, where it's like, John Carter, all those tropes are in like they're all in Star Wars and all these other things. It's like, motherfucker, this thing was written in like 1919.
Yeah.
Like this is when you say that all those tropes are in Star Wars and shit. That's where they come from. Like they come from John Carter of Mars, and it's like you're like hating on it for the things it invented. Like as a concept, like me and my wife sat down and watched it after I was like, oh, I heard this is terrible. And then we sat down and watched it, and it's like, oh yeah, he telegraphs his soul across the universe to Mars. I'm like, dude, that is a super heady concept for 1919.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, no, his essence and his being, he telegraphs it. So like his body's still here and he still exists, but like everything about him is transferred across the universe. It's like, holy shit, that is an awesome idea. Holy fuck, that's cool. And it's just like, yeah, I'm in. But that's my little piece. I feel bad for Taylor Kitsch. I actually kind of thought he should get another crack at it, even though I think Gambit totally sucks. And if you disagree with me, go ahead and let me know on any of the comments in the YouTube or on the Facebook page. But I do not like Gambit. I never have and I never will. So if you really do like him, please step up to the plate and tell me why that Creole bastard is any good.
Well, I think a big part of that is, at least for me, when I was a kid, it was like the nostalgia, the 90s cartoon. And now that looking back on it in retrospect, especially taking into consideration his powers, like, I'm almost excited to see how they can get around, as you stated, Dunners, how terrible a character he is. And not even that, I'm more excited about the accent, because there's no one on this earth who can pull off a Creole accent for more, actually at all. So I just want to see him try to do an accent for 120 minutes or however long.
Oh God, if fucking Gambit is 2 hours long.
And it's not even going to be Gambit. It's going to be Magic Mike speaking in a Creole accent, and that's just going to fuck me up.
The only way I could sit through a 2-hour Gambit movie is if for sure that they confirm for me that Mr. Sinister is the bad guy, because he's going to carry the entire movie for me.
There's no way he can't be the bad guy. What are some of his other major enemies?
I mean, I guess really it's Sinister, and then it's, what is it, the League? I wanted to say the League of Shadows, like from Batman, but the fucking the Assassins
Guild. Yeah, the Assassins. Fucking
the
Batman
fucking,
dudes, yeah.
you know, the fucking Ra's al Ghul and the
guys,
fucking
yeah.
League of Shadow and shit.
Wrong universe, guys.
Yeah.
Actually, we have our first actually of the day.
No, actually, you know, actually. I'll raise you there. And I think Matthew McConaughey could do a mean Creole after True Detective Season 1. I'd be willing to give him a shot at it, at least.
I went the opposite direction with that. I thought you were saying Matthew McConaughey for Mr. Sinister. And then I imagined a Lincoln commercial, but with Mr. Sinister driving around, just like, I could just drive around here all night, pondering the big questions.
Exactly.
Dissecting the human genome. Why the Summers' powers don't work on each other. just see him driving around and just... You don't buy a Lincoln because you love it. You buy a Lincoln because you need to destroy the mutant race. Just like,
the longest
Mr.
monologues
Sinister for
ever in the movie, yeah. He just monologues throughout the whole movie.
And they're just always him driving around. I'd see that movie. I'd do it.
Never moving his lips, just thoughts in his head.
Just thought, yeah.
But could you imagine Matthew McConaughey as Mr. Sinister, though? That'd be fucking super great with the fucking blue lipstick and the weird teeth and, like... I'm imagining... remember when Gozer becomes a woman in the end of Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Take that face and like mash it with McConaughey's, and that's what Mr. Sinister looks like.
Perfect.
It can't be any worse than Ivan Ooze Apocalypse.
I knew you were going there.
Like,
Why?
It's the worst costume in the history of all comic book movies, and that includes that includes Go-Go Power Rangers Green Goblin from the very first Spider-Man.
All right, wait. Okay, so how far is this going back? Because when you say all comic book movies, I'm pulling out the Batman Forever.
Oh, dude, I don't give it. You can.
The
Jim
nipples.
Jim Carrey with his dick and balls on display is a better representation of the Riddler than Apocalypse having a 5 head and no fish lips. I would rather stare at Jim Carrey's dick for an hour and a half than look at Oscar Isaac with that like crazy half Stargate helmet that he is wearing.
It's bad.
That's how I feel, guys. That's how I feel inside. I'd rather watch Jim Carrey in a glittering question mark unitard.
Twirling that fucking cane around. Oh, God.
Yeah, and watch Tommy Lee Jones do whatever it is he thinks that Two-Face does.
Oh, God.
Oh, I forgot about Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face. Did he spill, acid or hot coffee on his face in that? Is that how
the weirdest part about that universe, though, is that he, in his accident of becoming Two-Face, he went from being Billy D. Williams to being Tommy Lee Jones, but only half of his face got disfigured, because it was Billy D, right? Because it was Lando Calrissian was him in the very first Batman. So, you have him, and it's like, oh yeah, it's District Attorney Harvey Dent, and it's like, oh, there's Lando Calrissian, that's fucking sweet, and then it's like, now he's Tommy Lee Jones. Like, what the fuck happened to both sides of his face? He got hit in the face with a cup of acid, it burned and disfigured one half, and turned him into an older white man on the other side. His face tried to compensate for something, I don't know.
Oh,
I'm Joel Schumacher. I don't care about anything. Funny thing about those Batman movies, they're shitty. That's not the funny thing. They just are. The funny thing is, those two are the highest grossing Batman movies prior to The Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises.
I can't believe I've lost all faith in humanity if that's the case. Oh, that hurts.
It's not a joke. That's true. Those two are the highest grossing of the Batman franchise prior to Nolan's movies coming onto the scene.
Who would have thought it would have been the one with the Robin?
And this is what bums me out, because I think Robin's awesome. All three of the Robin are all I guess you have to say 4 now because stupid ass Damian Wayne. But Dick Grayson is a great character. even though I don't particularly like Nightwing, I liked his run when he becomes Batman after Bruce is quote unquote dead.
Yep.
And it's him and Damian Wayne, and you have that new angle where Batman is the optimistic and cheerful one, and Robin is this brooding piece of shit. I was like, that's a great moment. Tim Drake is probably my favorite Batman character, I think. The shit that Tim Drake has to put up with, like, he's the third Robin, so he's, you know...
Yep.
He's constantly being safeguarded because Bruce doesn't know what to do because of what he let happen to Jason Todd. You know, so he's like, all right, well, I raised one of them. One of them made it. The other one got brutally murdered.
Yeah. Just destroyed, yeah.
So what do I do with the third one? You know, so it's like my approach has a 50-50 shot of murdering you.
Hey guys, never a failure, always a lesson.
It's true. I also think that like the movies have never really done a very good job displaying how crazy Bruce is. And then like especially Nolan's movies are just awful displays of Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah.
They're visual spectacles and they're beautiful, but they're awful Batman films because they're not Batman movies at all. They're Batman characters in a version of Heat. It's like Heat made by Chris Nolan with Batman characters, which is fine.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, that's totally fine. But for me, one of the most intriguing things to think about with Batman as a character is he's a dude who's so unhinged that he would bring a child into gang fights with guns and like brutal like murders and rapes and like all these crazy things. Like, he's bringing like a 13 to 18-year-old kid in there, like in the most formative years of that child's life, as far as like what they're gonna view as their worldview for being a man. Like he's trying to create his replacements so they're as fucked in the head as he is. It's super weird, and I would love to see that on screen because he does all of these things, and Dick Grayson still never becomes like him. Dick Grayson never ever stops being optimistic and hopeful, and just an amazing character who's just always has people's best intentions at heart, and he never looks at them as like monsters. Then you have Tim Drake, who goes on to become his own character, the Red Robin, who has all of Bruce's tech, like his like the way he does everything and the way he's a detective. But he's also not nearly as cynical. But he's not like Dick Grayson, where it's like everyone's inherently good. Like Tim Drake's like, I most certainly disagree. I think more like Bruce. And then you got Jason Todd, who just kind of becomes a total lunatic, but I think that's kind of part and parcel because he gets murdered and comes back from the dead.
Oh god!
So there, there's all these different things, and I feel like the Batman movies are really need to have a moment where him and Robin are together, because most of the amazing stories about Batman are watching him basically raise some kid, and raise him in a fucking super weird
nightmarish type.
All right, the Killer Croc is down at the docks eating people. Suit up.
Hey, Batman, I'm 15 and I'm kind of having some body issues right now. Can we just stay home and talk about stuff? No,
Tim, put your suit on and get on your motorcycle. I can't even legally drive. We're fucking fighting crime as a bat and a bird. Fucking rock and roll. Let's go.
Don't think about it. Just do it.
Stop being a pussy, Robin. Yeah.
Alfred, tell Tim he's being a bitch. Oh, Master Drake, you are being in fact a bitch. Just like, and then they all kind of drive off and just like. I feel like that would be an intriguing, at least one movie, to not treat him like a joke, because the comics don't treat him like a joke. It's everyone who's seen Batman 1960 who thinks Robin's a joke.
Yeah.
You know, holy moly, double hockey sticks, Batman. Like that's sure when Robin was 10, like that's what it was like. But you know, there are moments where Tim Drake fucking goes up and fights Bruce because he thinks he's wrong. Mm-hmm. It's like has a fist fight with him about whether or not he thinks he's right. You know, it's like Robin's not like the pushover that the mass consensus is, which is another thing that kind of bothered me. Was like, you should use your real name, Robin. In the end of Dark Knight Rises, like fuck you, Chris Nolan. Don't do that to Robin, you piece of shit. Don't do that. Well, that's a terrible thing to do.
And that's the crazy part is I think it's one of those things that's so obvious. Is like he is a 13 to 18-year-old kid holding his own in gang fights with like super powered creatures, and everyone's just sort of like, "Man, fuck him." Like that would be like a 12-year-old going into the league and like holding his own. And whenever he gets a shot blocked by a 7-foot, everyone was like, "Nah, I told you he was a bitch." Like,
yeah, I told
he's
you
12.
I was like, what are you doing? He's a child.
Where's your sense of humanity? Ah, fuck him.
Yeah. He can pilot a helicopter. How many 12-year-olds do you know can fly a fucking helicopter? So, that's a complete super tangential situation. A classic move here on the Best Flarking Podcast. Guys, I wanted to ask you something. How do you feel about the speculation on Spider-Man's movie costume? Do you guys know about this?
Oh, yeah.
You guys are super in the know.
Yep.
You guys are way more in the know than I am. How do you guys feel about this?
Well, I don't know about that one, but my feelings on it are, at the moment, indifferent. I'm not one way or the other. There are sketches that we've seen, and I think the others were computer, mock-ups of what's gonna happen there. And the point is none of it's confirmed, so it's all speculation at this point. And I think Dunners, what you and I have kind of discussed off podcast, those images that the Russo brothers had tweeted out, this kind of lends itself towards that a little bit. And we might have that exact costume. And for those that aren't familiar with what we're talking about, you can look it up. The 2016 Spider-Man Marvel Sony reboot kind of thing, but a little homemade spider suit, hoodie, goggles, open backpack, open-toed bottoms, running around barefoot, looks like. So yeah, definitely not what we're used to, but very cool for the character in his late teenage years, and the one that we're going to see in that new Marvel universe.
I'm super into this as his suit. I'm like, the more I think about it, the more I love it. That's how I'm like, thinking about him just being a 15-year-old kid with no money.
Yeah.
Of course that's what he would have. It's like, there's no way he would have what Andrew Garfield or even what Tobey Maguire had. Like, those suits are fucking amazing. Those are like the most crazy amazing suits I've ever seen for someone who's supposed to just have made it with a sewing machine at their house.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I think that's a really cool idea of him having goggles and the hoodie and like the backpack full of web solution and like shitty web shooters to like really give him a chance to become Spider-Man, because I feel like what the other movies have established is that Spider-Man's awesome no matter how you slice it, and him as a character has never been the problem in his movies. And what we need more of is him problem solving and becoming a better Spider-Man, and we can't have him be a better Spider-Man if he's already a great Spider-Man at the start.
Yeah.
You know? Because all the other movies are like, he gets bit by the spider, he fucking wrestles Macho Man Randy Savage, and then he's
Bonesaw is ready.
and then we fast forward 6 months and he's fucking in a spider suit zipping around town foiling every crime ever. And it's kind of the same thing with Andrew Garfield too, where it's like, oh, he's, in like a quote unquote like makeshift costume, and then out of nowhere he's got the super suit, he's got the badass Spider-Man suit already. I'd like to see the whole movie where he is trying to like bust small-time gangsters in Manhattan and make him more of a street-level Daredevil style hero and have him grow. And I think that is a really neat, bold choice, and I really hope that happens. And I do hope the Russos get involved in the franchise, because they said they really want to. I know that John Watts is got, well, I guess quote-unquote full creative control for his movie, but it's a Marvel movie, so we all know how much full creative control anyone gets outside of the name James Gunn and Joss Whedon.
Yes.
So, I guess, the Russo brothers, I guess you can actually put them among they get free reign because of how good Winter Soldier was. I think Marvel just lets them do whatever they want now, too. Hand in hand with that, how do you feel about the other speculation that by the end of his movie, Tony gives him the Iron Spider?
That seems like a pretty, I mean, to your point, right, if we're really going to if the point is to see Spider-Man grow and become Spider-Man, I feel like that'd be a pretty big jump in one movie. That he would go from this sort of makeshift costume that really does make it feel like we're seeing the birth of Spider-Man. And the pace of it, I think, is cool too. Which I think a lot of stuff is done a lot quicker than it needs to be. So I'm trying to figure out how logically we could go from seeing Spider-Man. It would have to be like we wouldn't be able to see him get his powers because that would make the movie too long. So it would have to be in the period where he sort of knows what he's doing. And then maybe over the course of the movie, he grows to the point of being able to handle the Iron Spider. But, like, if you're just turning into Spider-Man, there's no way you'd be able, by the end of a movie, be able to handle the Iron Spider.
Right. I hope that that's the rumor that gets super debunked because I don't like how the Iron Spider looks. 2, I think the trajectory is way too fast.
Yeah.
Like, Tony just gives him an Iron Man suit, basically.
Yeah.
You know? It's just like, no.
Well, let alone one that we know how that one acts, if anybody's read Civil War.
Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, Rhodey's his best friend. He had to fucking steal it. You know? Like, that's first and foremost on my list. It's like, if Rhodey had to steal his, Spider-Man shouldn't just get one right away. That ain't right, Tony.
Just handing out iron suits.
Yeah. Like where the fuck is Steve Rogers' fucking Iron Captain America suit, huh?
Yep.
Widow, Hawkeye, for that matter. I mean, none of that. Whoa, guys, hang on.
That would destroy the team just on the purpose of like, yo, Tony, what the fuck, man?
Tony just shows up and he's like, hey guys, I got a surprise for you. Like, oh, really? Awesome. What is it? I brought Bruce with me, and I got the Vision here. And I gotta tell you guys, I made them both Iron Man armors. Hulk now has an Iron Man armor, and the Vision gets an Iron Man armor. I was like, dude, that dude has an Infinity Gem in his head, and the other guy is like indestructible. Why do they need the suits? I don't know. This is what I felt like building. Do you think any other people who need the suits? And like Falcon flies in, and fucking Hawkeye and Black Widow walk up. I'm like, what the shit, dude? Why don't we get suits? I forgot you guys were even here.
Damn.
What do you
want from me? What do you want from me, guys? What do you want from me?
Yeah. It's like, come on, dude. Your whole thing is you got wings. You don't want a whole suit to go along with it. And like Black Widow, like, there's no spider who wears armor. What about the one you made for Peter?
Why are you bringing up the kid? Yeah, why are you bringing up the kid? Why are you bringing up he's a kid?
He's like 15-year-old. Do you see him? He's fighting in like Massimo sweat jorts, dude. He can't. You gotta let it just. He needs this. Like,
wow, you're real selfish. You guys are real selfish.
Yeah. I come over here, I want to show you this cool stuff I made, and you guys make it all about you guys. This is why I quit.
This is why I quit, yeah, to be honest. This shit right here.
You didn't quit because you built a murder bot? I didn't build a murder bot, I accidentally built a murder bot. That's what happened.
It's all about intent. Next.
Yeah, context.
Yeah.
No,
all right,
to that point, though, I wouldn't be surprised if the MCU spun it a little bit differently than what we've seen in the comic books. And
I wouldn't be surprised either.
It could present a very low-level Iron Spider suit that maybe isn't the equivalent of what we've seen in the comic books, but is a upgrade from Peter's homemade outfit.
That would be really interesting to see, like, almost the Iron Spider almost brings him to like where he would know, like where we would traditionally see Spider-Man, like in the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield movies. Maybe that's what the Iron Spider suit does, and this, at least in this iteration. Yeah,
sort of a catalyst to his own thoughts on how a spider suit would act.
Yep, exactly. Because
Who knows?
Because the Iron Spider suit would definitely not. He wouldn't need a backpack for extra web solution and all that sort of stuff. His web shooters would be upgraded, so.
Time will tell.
Yeah, we'll find out eventually. We'll know for sure. On a completely different level, we got a confirmation for one of Luke Cage's villains.
Oh
god. He's not the villain, just a villain. They're making very sure to say that he's not the villain, but a villain of the series, and that's everyone's most well-known, most totally heard of by everyone who's ever not read a comic. Like when you're like, who is a supervillain in a superhero comic? Everyone goes to this guy
immediately.
It's Cottonmouth. You know, you're in my favorite supervillain, Cottonmouth, dude.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You know what?
Good old Cornell Mouthington, Cottonmouth.
Cornell Mouthington. Okay, I just hit you guys.
He brings up. Oh yeah, no, that's right. That's exactly who he would be. That's exactly the guy who shows up on stage with Snoop in Old School. That's what
Archbishop Don Juan. Yeah.
No, Don Magic Wand.
Don Magic Wand, baby. That's Cottonmouth. That's the only reasonable Cottonmouth I think exists in this world right now that I know of.
It's true. We just gotta file down his teeth. We did that with visual effects, and then give him superhuman strength. Bam, he's in there. He's in the mix. I like that they're pulling these obscure nobody villains. I mean, now granted, Cottonmouth plays a really big part in Luke Cage's birth into being a superhero, so I understand why he's there. I'm wondering that since Cottonmouth's a drug dealer and he sells heroin mostly, and that's how Luke Cage gets popped and goes to jail, a couple of things come to mind that I'm wondering. One, is he in Jessica Jones as a non-powered person first, and then he goes to jail in Jessica Jones, and then in Luke Cage we see him get the experiment and he gets out? That's my first part. My second part is, does Cottonmouth work for Madame Gao? Since we've established in Daredevil that she moves all the heroin through Hell's Kitchen, which is really close to Luke Cage's neighborhood that he covers. So, is Cottonmouth going to be on Madame Gao's payroll? And if so, how is that going to tie everything back together? Because I feel like that's a really simple one that should probably happen.
I'm not too familiar with the character personally. I don't know, just off top and seeing what we were talking about before the podcast started. I can't imagine him being much larger of a player than just some little tie-in to make the fanboys happy. I don't know, but that's just my take on it. Madame Gao, maybe. Who really knows?
And that's the end for Cottonmouth. That's all.
What is he? What does he do? I mean, he's got teeth. So what?
He's got superhuman strength.
Well, I mean, and I mean, like, he really is Black Jaws. Like, he really is Black Jaws. But
if you've seen Moonraker make Jaws black, and you've got Cottonmouth, and put him in a zoot suit type situation.
Put him in his zoot, yeah, and make sure the feather in the hat is long. Make sure that feather's long. But I don't know. I mean, I think they will be able to figure out a way to tie in Cottonmouth as both the catalyst to Luke Cage, getting his powers. But I don't think, to Nick's point, that he may be strong enough to carry the movie as a villain. So they might just kill him. Like, he might be a low level enforcer for Madame Gao, or he might just be dealt with like relatively shortly after Luke Cage gets out. But I think what we've seen with all of I guess not all of them, because now we're starting to get with Ant-Man. There are some more or lesser known characters popping up, but I don't know. I just don't see a whole movie being carried on Luke Cage versus Cottonmouth.
Well, I just go back to what we saw in Daredevil and who played Owl, which wasn't too very much of the comic standards, but was still very much a character in the show and this live universe that we're witnessing. So, how much of this guy can they portray realistically again in that street level universe?
That's a good point.
I think he's gonna be the main villain of Avengers 4. That's
You've seen them deal with Thanos.
Well, I mean, Thanos dies, and you see like the gems kind of like roll, like, and then maybe they like hit like a
They hit
like
his
a storm
cup.
like
No, they
hit like a storm drain, and they land in his pimp cup because he's down in the sewers where they think he's dead, and they like land in there, and you hear them rattle around, and then he sits up and you see him smile, and it's like boom, Cottonmouth will return in Avengers 4.
I honest to God, do not know how I would react.
Your head would explode.
It might. It very well might.
My head would explode if that came true. Be like, nah, no way, that can't be the thing.
They were
like,
listening
no,
the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, we heard this podcast and we thought it was a great idea, so we did it. It's like, no, that was a bad idea.
We were joking.
That was not the truth. Oh man. So we talked about this a little bit last week. There's rumors swirling around that since, obviously we're getting a Netflix series every 6 months now, because Marvel basically crushed Netflix's entire... They basically boosted Netflix's overall worth by 2%.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
with one series.
Which is a
so
crazy
now they're like,
concept.
Yeah. They're like, we need to make something new with you guys every 6 months because you guys are crushing the game and we want to continue to crush the game too. So please crush game with us. Like, all right, great. So like the rumors circling now is Blade getting his own series with Wesley as Blade still.
Which I'm all for.
And then the other ones that were originally rumored, the Punisher by himself, Moon Knight by himself,
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider by himself, but using those guys to populate a new Thunderbolts team.
Yeah.
So to speak. So, like having that second arc, because the first arc is the street level guys becoming the Defenders, and having the second arc be the anti-heroes become the Thunderbolts, basically.
Well, and from what we've already seen from the cinematic universe tied into CBS's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is that one of our main guys, who we all love and adore, Agent Coulson, can go on to lead a ragtag team of agents across the nation there and the world and find out what's going on with superpowered beings. And I don't think it's too far-fetched to think that we could get Thunderbolt Ross leading a team of so-called baddies to do the better thing.
We're going to end up seeing him in Civil War. So.
Right. So, again, to that point, cinematic to the, not necessarily CBS TV here, but Netflix in that realm.
I'm super excited if the Thunderbolts show up. The only thing that kind of bums me out about it is I feel like the Thunderbolts are going to be late to the party because now it's going to be like, well, they're what? They're like Suicide Squad?
True.
It's like, well, yeah, but...
They're not really.
But it's not like the shitty guys in DC. It's not like Captain Boomerang. It's...
Right.
It's... it's not that. It's like, it's the fucking Punisher and Ghost Rider and the Moon Knight and...
Actual characters,
way better.
Yeah.
Like way better heroes. So I'm open to the idea of the Thunderbolts. I was kind of hoping that maybe they give it a little bit of time and maybe we got like Squadron Supreme first.
Ooh, bro! But before we even see kind of worldly disaster in Infinity War, you can't bring that caliber of superpower in.
Yeah.
I was thinking that Squadron Supreme could start off-world in more of a cosmic situation and not make them kind of earthbound. I was thinking that there's a way that they could have molded it into the MCU cosmic.
Sort of beginning of Man of Steel.
Yeah, kind of that way, with like...
Like, where are we? What are we doing? What world is this? I don't know where I am.
Yeah, basically, a little fish
They
out
look
of
like
water.
human, but they're not humans. I don't know what's going on.
You don't know this world a damn thing, Clark. Don't you do shit. I love that part of that Batman vs Superman trailer. I love watching his mom be like, either help him or fucking don't. You don't know a shit. You saved the world once already. And if people are pissed about it, fuck them. Basically what his mom is saying is just like, if they're going to be ungrateful that you fucking caught a satellite and threw it back into orbit, fuck those guys. So, I don't know, there's lots of stuff that this whole idea of an every 6 months with a Netflix thing, the thing that makes it most exciting for me is that I'm a filmmaker and I should get to direct one of these.
Eventually, yeah.
It's just I should be doing it. It should be mine. This should be my shit. You know, that Taskmaster series by Adam Dunn, 2019.
Hey.
Let's get it. Let's get it on the books.
That's awesome.
Come on. Oh man.
The initiative.
To stay on, like, I guess not stay on that, it's also like stay on superheroes, because what we always stay on. How do you guys feel about the idea that now, if Fantastic Four is a critical success, like a monster hit, they are for surely going to do an X-Men Fantastic Four crossover movie? Do you care?
I don't know how I feel. Brian, do you?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I can't get past figuring out how anyone is going to pay money, and respectfully, Dunners, to see this new Fantastic Four movie. So, me imagining it to be a smash hit success, and then going a step further and having the producers be like, you know what, we got struck by lightning once, we bottled it. Let's go ahead and try and push fate again and do an X-Men Fantastic Four mashup. That's nah. I can't believe that. I can't believe this movie's gonna be good. Not because just for what. Nick, do you want to take it?
Well, yeah, we all know. We've discussed it. Yeah, it's just what Josh Trank is doing, how it's been promoted, and Fox not getting behind it that much until this. I mean, still, I've barely seen trailers. I see 15-second promos pop up before I watch a video on YouTube, but other than that, it has not made the runs as much as any of these other movies have. And I can't even attribute that to the Disney machine that's behind Marvel, because even DC has done so with Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. So Fox has not done the same for any of their titles, being X-Men or Fantastic Four now. So given what we talked about in the first episode of the podcast, Dunners going to don't come to Comic-Con without A footage. Don't do it. Age of Apocalypse shit the bed there. So Fantastic Four moving forward, what we've seen with recent TV promos, the new teaser trailers, seeing Thing with the voice of a teen. I mean, and he's not a teen, and that's the worst part. Is I hate to call him a teen because he's not a fucking teen. He's my age. Yeah, he's a grown ass man.
Yeah,
but he's supposed to be 10 feet, 12 feet tall, rock form. I can't imagine that is what somebody talks like in that form. That is not what your voice sounds like.
Well, especially considering it's not that his skin is rock. It's that he's living stone.
Yes.
And it's just like his vocal cords wouldn't be Jamie Bell's vocal cords
right.
anymore.
It's not muscle anymore in there. Let's be all the way real about that.
As real as we can be about a stone man.
Right.
Also, I just the other point, and I know this is probably a smaller detail, is Richard's costume is fucking shitty. I don't want to see springs on someone whose superpower is elasticity. I don't want to see springs on their person.
Yeah, all of them. And that kind of delves into that realm of dealing with these in a real life situation. And fuck real life. I'm not watching this for real life. I'm watching this because it doesn't exist in real life. Hello, Josh Trank. My name is Nick Regis, and I like to watch comic book films because they're not fucking real. So, yeah, it's a little disturbing to see what's happening with these, and to see those two team up, it would be great if it was done right, and Thing tossing Wolverine into a Sentinel's head would be awesome. Unfortunately, it's not the one that we're going to see existing in these two universes together, so I don't know. That's my take on it.
We'd also have to see it with a new Wolverine.
That's true.
Hugh Jackman's hanging him up at the end of, which is kind of a bummer because you know what? At the end of the day, if I could have seen a new Avengers, like BMB's New Avengers, I would have loved to see Hugh Jackman Wolverine up there with Tom Holland Spider-Man.
Oh, yes.
Fucking Don Cheadle, War Machine, and Cap, and fucking
Luke
all those guys.
Cage.
Yeah, and see fucking Michael Coulter up there, and like all the pieces are like slowly moving into place, but Fox just can't get their head out of their ass and just like make peace with Marvel about it. And that's all because they totally boner jammed Marvel in that deal, and now Marvel won't forgive it.
Nope.
Marvel's like, nope. I mean, the biggest thing about put this in perspective for everyone to think about. Marvel extended the olive branch to Fox because Fox wanted to have Joe Carnahan do a 70s era gritty Daredevil. Have it be like a Grindhouse Daredevil. That's what they want to do, a hard R Grindhouse Daredevil movie. That's what Fox's last plans were. And they showed a sizzle reel of what it would kind of be like, and it was really neat. Their rights lapsed, meaning Marvel owned the full rights. Marvel had a handshake deal in place with them, like, hey, look, you guys go ahead. You guys can go ahead and keep the Daredevil trademark until you get the movie sorted out, and then we'll work out a new deal. What we want in return, though, is you guys give us Galactus and the Silver Surfer back. We're not even asking for the Fantastic Four. We're asking for those two because, the cosmic universe is going to be a big deal. Fox said no. They're like, Daredevil's not going to make any money anywhere. You can have him back.
I heard about this.
And then Marvel took him back, and Daredevil's the highest rated show in the history of Netflix. It's like, fine. We'll just wait until you fucking fail again, and you guys know that you can't make money on the Fantastic Four, and then we'll just get them back.
I know this is like two separate sides of the business, but I just imagine that meeting, like Rupert Murdoch is sitting in there in the boardroom, and they're explaining like Daredevil and all this sort of shit, and he's like, he's blind? Nah, fuck it. I don't want it. Nah, get it out of here. Are you serious?
Blind
Are you sure? Yeah,
blind people can't do shit.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, man.
We don't have any superheroes who are colored, do we? Get rid of them too.
Exactly.
Whoa,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez. Jesus Christ, Mr. Murdoch. Well, I don't like him. Well, I mean, publicly I do, but privately I don't. You guys know what I mean. And everyone's just sitting there awkwardly.
Silent, like, yeah, looking around. Yeah, not making eye contact.
No, we don't know what you mean.
Just, like, you see the one intern who's like about to speak up, and they're like, Johnny, shut the fuck up. You'll lose your job. Don't say anything to him. He's a fucking whirlwind of bigotry and anger.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk. You don't want to get in there. Because he thinks he's a great man who's good to all people. He does. He thinks that. Oh yeah. And he's wrong. It's like Rupert Murdoch tries to swoop in and buy our podcast now because I just made fun of him.
Yeah.
I'll buy your podcast and you'll never know any better. I'm like, all right, okay, you got me, Rupert Murdoch. Because we're edgy here. We'll shit all over Rupert Murdoch. We don't care. We're tough like that.
Yeah.
Badass. If you guys who are listening have any opinions on any of the stuff that we're talking about, whether it be how awesome Cottonmouth is and how he's going to be the main villain for Avengers 4, whether you have like defense of the Fantastic Four, if you fucking loved Chronicle and you think Chronicle 2 Fantastic Four 1 will be amazing, let us know. We're super into the idea of interacting with you guys because these are just our opinions. Only mine is fact all the time. So only the things I say are fact all the time. And everyone else is just kind of voicing their opinion. It's fine. So just let us know in the comments on Facebook or on the YouTube, and we'll interact and we'll argue and do all those things that the internet was made for.
All the fun stuff. So
we covered all this kind of Marvel stuff. I want to talk more to the big bro. I want to know who is your favorite comic book character of all time? It can be villain or hero. To preface, on episode 1. Nick's is the Vision, and mine is Captain America. So those are where we stand, which means you can't choose them.
Oh God, like sweat pouring. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I would say for me, it was probably, or it definitely is Black Panther. And Nick actually was there. We were hanging out, or Reed was there, and he showed me. I had missed earlier in the day. He showed me the unveiling of the next phase of Marvel coming out. And when I saw Black Panther pop up, I lost my shit. He was the first definite black superhero that I sort of saw, and you know when you first read those first frames, or you first hear about a comic book character and you learn about their history or their backstory, and it just sort of like clicks, and you're just like, yep, this is ride or die. This is the one. And that was me for Black Panther. I mean, the backstory of Wakanda, sort of his trials between finding his own path, and I'm talking about T'Challa in the '98 Priest series. But yeah, that was Black Panther is mine. So I'm gonna definitely be fanboying when that movie comes out. I might go in full costume. I don't even know yet. Like,
yeah.
That's a lot of whey protein I have to take, though, from now until then. That's so much whey protein.
I really like Boseman as the T'Challa pick.
Oh yeah,
that's a hard one to like. The T'Challa pick, like try to get all the t's and the ba and the cha and the pa all through there in one sentence is tough. Mm-hmm. But he's gonna be so fucking good as T'Challa, dude. It's gonna be so rad.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm super excited. I think Andy Serkis is awesome as Claw too. Mm-hmm. So like this is gonna be fucking sweet. It's gonna be so cool to see him in Civil War and then see him take the reins of his own movie. Because for me, when people ask me about like my non-comics friends, because often get asked stuff where it's like, oh yeah, there's this coming out. What do you think of this? And like, who is this guy? I'm like, well, for me,
I love your voice of your non-comic friends.
Yeah. It's kind of just like a weird honking sound. All my non-comic friends are geese.
Yeah. That's what they sound like to you when they're talking. You're just sort of like.
It's just me in a park talking to geese, basically. Like, the fucking weird guy is back talking to geese again. I always explain, like, the way I explain Black Panther is like, well, you know, if you want to look at power-wise, he's like 50% between, he's like directly in the middle. If you took as two, like, you had a slider, and you could go either all the way in one direction, all the way in the other direction. On one end, you've got Iron Man, Tony Stark, and on the opposite end, you've got Captain America, Steve Rogers. Yeah. Directly in the middle is the Black Panther. Yep. Mm-hmm. He's incredibly smart, but at the same time, he's a masterful tactician and an incredible hand-to-hand combatant. So it's just like he's incredible at all of those things, but he doesn't have the same kind of oomph that Tony has, where it's like, oh yeah, I built this briefcase that turns into a nuclear warhead and can detonate half a city. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, where Cap somehow has a strategic battle plan to beat any and everything.
Well, and I think what attributes to that is his ancestry, the supernaturalness behind his previous Black Panthers and handing down that knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and plus, he's like one of the... If you were to calculate, like, wealth, like, Tony Stark is, like, the richest dude in all of Marvel's universe, but T'Challa has to be second. He has to be.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's the only dude on Earth who has vibranium. The only one. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, and it's as far as Marvel's universe goes, outside of adamantium, it's the hardest material there is. Next to adamantium. At least on Earth. And, I feel like you don't get to have all of that without making tons and tons and tons and tons of money.
Oh no! Like in the series, he's like, it's like stupid money. Like first of all, if you can find Wakanda and somehow get into it, like it's on some Jetsons type shit. Like they have flying cars, all that type shit as a city. Like it does not look like they're on. I mean, like the terrain is Earth, but the structures are so advanced that they look nearly alien, which is very interesting considering that their culture is like this very unique fusion between high tech from the vibranium and, like as Nick said, the spirituality of their tribe, of the Black Panther. Yeah, and I can't wait. I mean, and I think especially with the lesser known characters, Marvel is doing a very great job of introducing the ones who many people may not know in other films first. Like, as far as Black Panther goes, in Avengers 2, like we are being spoon-fed like all the way up to Black Panther having his own movie. just by when Bruce Banner was saying, like, oh, this is some language Wakanada. Like, as soon as he says Wakanda, like, that's the first sort of, at that point, eventually, if you're familiar with the storyline, it has to get to Black Panther at some point.
Right. Well, and taking and introducing his arch rival, Claw.
And it was
like,
so
right
well
away
done.
too.
Oh, so well done.
And so you have all these kind of really neat pieces slowly moving into place to really get him in front of everybody. And I think it's going to be really awesome to see him out there. I'm super excited for it, for sure. Reed, do you think we should play a game of What Are You for this? Since we have a guest, should we play What Are You? And we'll all catch up on like what we all are at the moment on all the different categories.
It's only fitting.
I mean, it makes sense. So, just so you know, we didn't brief the Big Bro.
And it's been a minute.
On how it works.
Yeah.
So, it's a game that we play on here very infrequently, apparently once every 4 episodes. So basically it's, what are you watching? What are you playing? What are you reading? And so, we'll go around in a circle and we'll just say what we're watching at the time, and we'll, loop around and we'll talk about what we're playing and what we're reading. And it's a pretty simple game, and it's pretty fun. So, since you're the guest, why don't we start with what are you watching? So what are you watching, Big Bro Jamal?
I am, and this is a little embarrassing. I am watching Breaking Bad for the first time. I just started that, and it is an amazing show. But for me, it is one of the most stressful things I've ever watched in my life. Like, seeing Walt White literally destroy his life and just make bad decisions all the time. Like, I'm sweating when I watch it. And that's what I guess makes me want to keep watching it as well. So right now I am watching Breaking Bad. And then actually on the side to that is a really great show on Amazon Prime called Alpha House. And it stars John Goodman, and it's about the Republican Congress. It's a comedy. I follow a lot of politics, and it's hilarious. So those are my 2, but mainly Breaking Bad.
Nice.
How about you, Reed?
Me, I'm watching, well, I just finished, and we're going to discuss it next week on the podcast, but Wayward Pines. Just finished that one. Good.
Some might even say great.
Yeah.
Some might say great.
Yes, we will discuss in further detail. So, a little prelude to next week. But yeah, that was good. Haven't been watching too much else other than just trying to catch up on movies. I had caught the new DC animated Gods and Monsters Friday night. Which I thoroughly enjoyed. Back to, I think, last week we spoke about it and just how that entire DC animated universe has been killing it, continues to kill it.
Absolutely.
They're just doing great things there. Touched on some heroes and anti-heroes, I guess you would kind of call them in this one, that we haven't really seen yet. And I don't know, being not too familiar with the DC universe, of if these guys tie into the new 52 or if they were already existing or what. But then going into my playing was the, still on Arkham Knight there. Some of those characters tied in, being one of the, what's his name? Kirk something, Man-Bat. That guy, but pretty cool. Just to see the relevancy though of between the movies and the video game, and not having any reference of it prior to, so immediately having 2 things to tie it into was really cool. But
is it Kirk Langstrom?
Yeah, there you go, Langstrom. Yep, or Lang something, Kirk Lang. Yeah, whether it's a Strum or a whatever. But that's what I was watching.
All right. Well, as far as what I'm watching, I also very recently finished Wayward Pines. I really liked it. I thought it was, some might say great. But what I'm watching at this exact moment in time, I watched like just a few hours ago. I am plowing my way through Wet Hot American Summer's first day of camp because because Wet Hot American Summer is one of the most amazing comedies of all time, and the Netflix series is just as good. It's incredible.
That's so
Everything
good to
about
hear.
it is incredible. And it's the first day of camp, so it's the origin story for half of the shit that you see that is so outlandish in the movie that now has a backstory as to why those things happen. And it's great. Me and my wife have just been laughing our ass off. I also have been watching Garfunkel and Oates, which is a comedy on IFC.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's really quite funny as well. I also snuck in an Amy Schumer episode, which I don't know how anyone feels about Amy Schumer, but she has an episode of her show that basically is an episode that parodies 12 Angry Men, which is an amazing film. If you haven't seen the original 12 Angry Men, check it out. Or if you haven't seen the one with Ving Rhames and Jack Lemmon, check that out too. Both are great. But basically the whole thing is 12 jurors are put into a room, and like one guy doesn't, it has to be a unanimous decision because they're gonna kill a guy in the movie. But on Amy Schumer, it's the 12 men have to have a consensus that she's hot enough to be on TV. And only one of them is like, she is hot enough, and they basically just kind of like skewer her, and like Paul Giamatti's in it.
Oh man.
And it's like this amazing, like it's a really, really well done, hilarious episode. So that's what I've been watching is those things.
Nice.
So let us also, so I can be that guy who chimes in at the end of my own thing. Let us know what you are watching, what you are playing, what you are reading in the comments. Did you get the idea? I want you to comment on something. I'm not gonna stop until you do it. So I'll beg.
Is that what you want?
I'll drop down on my knees and beg for the comments if that's what it takes. That being said, moving along. We'll start with you on this one, Reeg, because you already kind of talked about it. What are you playing?
Oh, still cranking on Arkham Knight, man. Put it down for a hot minute, got back into it, and pretty much been enveloped ever since. Girlfriend's cranking away on Ori, and I cannot wait to get into it after she finishes, because I'm just that kind of a guy. I want to do it myself and figure out if I can, do time trials faster, achievements more, any kind of dick measuring contest that involves. But
there's nothing better than digital dick measuring.
Yes, absolutely. But no, and Brian and I were talking about this, and you as well before. I've been meaning to get into Witcher 3. Cannot wait to get into it. But still on the back burner is Elder Scrolls as well in that realm. And but Arkham Knight in the interim, and Zombies COD, but all the expansions for that one. That's been a fun game when you get people to play with. But yeah, pretty much that's it. Everything else is it's kind of stagnant over the summer. You don't get much new releases. You guys know how it goes.
Oh yeah, it's gotta wait till holiday season.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So, Big Bro, what are you playing right now?
Witcher 3 is consuming my life in all of the good and bad ways, and it's such a well done game. Like it's astonishing. I think as a fan of someone who plays both RPGs and like 3D hack and slash, it's a very good blend of both. To the point where I was playing actually like yesterday. And there was a moment where my character did, a really cool finishing move to kill like a ghoul or something I was facing. And it was, I don't know if either of you have played Shadow of Mordor, but the fluidity of that fighting style is present in The Witcher 3. But the RPG and just character building system, as far as abilities go, like the ability tree, and how you can build that out and all the different ways you can craft, different armors, weapons. It's just like, it's so in depth, and you can really tell that, a lot of people put a lot of time into it, and it shows. It's an amazing game.
Loved Shadows of Mordor. Loved it.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
The Nemesis system needs to be in more things.
Yes.
The argument was made on a video game blog that I read that Arkham Knight should have had the Nemesis system in it. And that, if a low-level thug on the ground happened to best you in a combat situation, he would rise through the ranks and become a supervillain, basically. and just have a bunch of like random, generated supervillain names and things, and have that kind of be a thing that could happen and really extend the playability of Arkham Knight outside of chasing down Riddler trophies and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
As for myself, what I am playing, I've been a healthy dose of Rocket League, which is soccer with cars. It's pretty amazing. If you haven't played it, you got to get on that and let it ride. It's so good. As always, I'm a MOBA guy, so Heroes of the Storm is always in the rotation. And then I've come back to world building game Terraria after they put out the big update. Terraria is just a gem. It's just such a great game that you can get lost in it forever. And all you do is mine and build stuff and fight bosses, and it's like a 2D side-scrolling Minecraft. And I don't like Minecraft, but I love Terraria. So like that's really the three that I've been playing. I played some of the Swindle and some of So Many Me, which is a free game on the Xbox One last month, and I've been trying to actually play more games lately because I've just been so swamped with work stuff that I just have not been able to really waste as much time as I would like. So, but though that's pretty much what I've been playing. So, moving into the final segment of What Are You? I guess I'll just jump right into it since I haven't had my turn to go first. What I'm reading right now is going back and reading all of Morning Glories, which we talked about previously. Is that it's basically like Lost and like X-Men and Lost together, and that's just an amazing, neat story. I've been reading all 7 volumes of that. I took a stab at getting myself completely caught up on Chew because I fucking love Chew, and I only had read the first 20 issues, and they're at like 45 or 47 issues now. And I read to issue 44, and it's just as amazing now as it was when I first read it. And I love the hell out of it. And those are 2 of the big ones that I'm reading right now. I'm also trying to, because I feel foggy about it, but the Guardians run that started in 2012, I'm starting that up too.
Bendis?
So yeah, the newish one that's like what 37 issues or something.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that. That's also on my list. I read like 1 issue, but I can't really say I'm reading it nearly as much as plowing through 44 issues of Chew in a week. So, so that's what I'm reading. Big Bro, what are you reading right now?
I am reading the new Lando series that just came out, which is awesome so far. It's really interesting because I think Lando and Billy D. Williams are, at least to me, so synonymous with each other that like it is very both appeasing and a little weird to see like Billy D. Williams and be reading a Billy D. Williams comic book. Like it's Lando, but I'm expecting Colt 45 to pop into a frame somewhere and like for him to like wink at me in the comic book, but like it's so that's a great series. And then reading through and the Scotty Young variant, which I got the first edition, but then I also got the Scotty Young variant, is just amazing. But then I'm also reading the 2012 run of Deadpool, which is really, really good. And then I picked up a new book, a new comic book series called Quantum and Woody. And it is about 2 stepbrothers, one black, one white, who were experimented on by their adopted father, who are now adults and like are still crime fighting together, but have to go to like marriage counseling essentially, or couples therapy, so they can function together. And on top of all that, like their therapist is trying to kill them. Their dad's mind has been transferred into like a pregnant goat. Like it's completely absurd and out there, but it's hilarious. So those are what are in my rotation right now. And then like again, shout out to Reeg for the hookup with Marvel Unlimited. That point out, because I'm always in that. Like I have like 3 or 4 things I'm reading at a time of that.
Yes.
So Reeg, what are you reading?
Oh man, all the things.
It's a lot of things, man.
It is.
A lot
It's
of
so
things.
many. No, more specifically, you guys know me, Marvel aficionado. Secret Wars, top on my list no matter what. Squadron Sinister. I can't wait to grab Civil War again this week, number 2. Infinity Gauntlet, everything that's going on there and what's going to spin out of it coming this fall. On top of that, graphic novel-wise, The Collecteds, about to dive into Odyssey by Fraction. And I'm not sure who the artist is on that one, but again, going back to Sex Criminals and Hawkeye and what else did Fraction do? Iron Fist. A ton of his work has just been phenomenal, and he did a sort of gender-flipped Homer's Odyssey in a futuristic sci-fi kind of sense, so that should be pretty cool to read, and that's on my list moving forward. But yeah, currently just the Secret Wars stuff, the single issues coming out, and yeah. Very
cool. So if you're looking for stuff to watch, play, or read, there are some suggestions for you. Those are all the things that we're currently plowing through. And, so if you have any suggestions for us, let us know. I think... No, you know what? We got one more thing. One more. I'm pulling an Apple. One last thing, guys.
One more. Hey, what's up, Tim Cook?
We here at Apple love the Guardians of the Galaxy. They very recently just showed the short of Peter Quill meeting Yondu.
Yes.
The Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon. I want to know, are you dudes excited for the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon? Because I am. I think that looks really neat, and I like the art style, and I think that's going to be a really cool cartoon.
Brian, did you see it?
I have not.
I watched it literally right before the podcast started, and I'm so glad we did because you asked this question. And yes, after watching that, I am very excited. The animation was good. I thought it was going to be not as well done as some of the others were, but it looks almost better, in my opinion, than Avengers Assemble looks. Mm-hmm. I'm sure we've talked about it before, but Earth's Mightiest Heroes is still my favorite, just because it is so accurate to a lot of comic book canon for the only 2 seasons that they did. But yeah, this new Guardians looks awesome. It fills in some of the gaps that were missing in Guardians from when Peter was kidnapped, technically, and where he ended up when we see him as Star-Lord. So, yeah, I'm super excited. What about you, Dunners? You good? You happy with what you saw?
I love the way Rocket looks. All I cared about was seeing how Rocket looked in the thing, and as long as Rocket was great. Because I mean, you guys know me. I fucking love Rocket Raccoon. Mm-hmm. I love Groot too. And now everyone on Earth loves them both because they were so amazing in the movies. And I just wanted to make sure that those 2 were done right. And it was great that they kept the kind of similar voice style to the way Rocket sounds in Earth's Mightiest Heroes as well. I did enjoy that because there's that 2-episode arc where the Guardians come to Earth to fight. Was it? Is it Korvac? Michael Korvac?
Yeah, Korvac was the first one. I can't remember who the second one was, but Rocket had that Australian kind of.
Yeah, kind of like more of a vibe. Like, I know that he doesn't have like the Australian vibe, but like the intonation.
Sure.
Like, I guess it can't say it's the same voice because it's like, oh yeah, the intonation's the same. Then like in that case, every Wolverine and him all have the same kind of voice. The same kind of gruff demeanor that I expected from Rocket Raccoon is what he needs to have. It's weird because a lot of times in cartoons for Marvel, the first time out, you get an Australian accent out of a character you really like. Like the very, 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 very first X-Men cartoon, the Pride of the X-Men cartoon from like 1982. Wolverine is so Australian in it, it's ridiculous. It's like, brr, crikey, you're not going to be one of the X-Men. It's just like, holy shit, that is not what he talks like. He's from Canada.
Yeah, exactly.
Canadian? Like, yeah. No one knows. Now, granted, it was the early 80s. No one knew it was in Canada. Like, we didn't even know they were a country until, like, 1991, right? That's when the Toronto Blue Jays and the Montreal Exposés became baseball teams, right?
We'll go with it.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Sure, yeah.
But I think it looks awesome. I'm pretty excited about that as a series. I want more Marvel animated stuff. There's I think Marvel, when they really kind of get into it, does do a really good job with the animation. DC is the king of it right now, but Wolverine versus the Hulk, the little 30-minute short film
That was
they have,
fun.
is so awesome. And having Nolan North as Deadpool in that was like, until this Deadpool stuff started surfacing, was the most accurate portrayal I've ever seen of Deadpool.
I was gonna say, is that the one where he gets his arm sliced up into little pieces and then
And he puts it on backwards on accident.
Yes, it's so great.
And the one where he jumps on top of the Hulk's head and says, "Who wants snack?" And jams a bomb in his mouth.
Yes.
Yeah, jams the bomb in his mouth, and then it's just like, he's like, "You see what I did there?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think you're only gonna make him more angry." Fantastic. Well, you deal with it, Logan. See him like, well, and and in that same short too, it's like Logan, I shot you in the ass with one of these, like with the tranquilizer dart, and then he just like walks up to him after like they have their very serious Weapon X talk. And then he walks up to him and he's just like, "Hey, Logan, I wanted to ask you something very, very serious." "What, Wade?" "Do you still have that indestructible skeleton?" And then puts a gun right to his head and shoots him. and then it cuts to black and you hear Wade go, "Ricochet, damn it."
He's so great. Yeah, that one
like,
was spot on.
You know, until the Ryan Reynolds stuff was like great. And so I feel like Guardians has that same kind of vein as like the Hulk versus stuff. And I'm super excited about that. So that was my one last thing for us.
Hell yeah.
So, I mean, with that, you can find us on the internet, which is probably how you found us in the first place. We are on Facebook. We are the facebook.com/thebestflarkingpodcast. You can go there and you'll see the link to the latest episode, the other episodes, any of this really awesome supplemental material that we're coming up with that goes along with our podcast. Reeg made some fucking badass infographics cards for all of where all the Marvel heroes are at, so you can keep up the speed and talk to all your cool comic book friends about where everyone's at. So that's one of the things that we're doing now. So make sure you go there and hit that little like button, and you'll get all of our stuff in your news feed between stories about where to make the best bacon pancakes and who has the coolest list of shoes. You'll see something of ours pop up right in between there. Hey, that's what the ads are for me, man. Bacon pancakes and who has best shoes. I don't know what your guys' feeds are like, because I don't have your feeds. I have my feed. Don't judge my feed.
No judgments passed here.
We're on iTunes. If you just go into the podcast section and search the Best Flarking Podcast, you'll find us on there. I can't say for sure that all the episodes will be there, because the way SoundCloud works, the most recent 2 episodes will be there for sure, but maybe there'll be more. I don't know. I do not know how the internet works with that. We are also on SoundCloud as soundcloud.com/thebestflarkingpodcast. On there you'll find the 2 most recent episodes of the podcast, which as of this recording is 4 and 3, and you can listen to them on there. And probably the easiest way for everyone to do it is we're on YouTube, and that's youtube.com/Evil Ice Cream Pictures. And all the episodes of the podcast are there. There's neat little tape recorder things so you can watch like some visual happening while you're listening to it. And you can get into arguments with us in the comments section, because everyone likes to comment on YouTube videos. Because I'm first. I'm going to comment first myself on my own video. That's how awesome I am.
First.
And then, first. This gets posted and someone hits first right away. I'm like,
right.
Damn. Someone got me. I got, y'all. I got. So those are all the places that we are at on the internet. We are also, all of us individually are on the Twitters, and I'll let everyone say their own names. I'm at Adam J. Dunn on Twitter. I know mine's super cool and creative. So that's me on my Twitter handle. Reeg?
I am at Nick Regis, NICREGIS.
And Big Bro? Who are you on the tweetars?
I am Big Bro Jamal, BIGBROJAMAL.
All right, so if you want to, get at us directly, those are awesome ways to get a hold of us. So that's the show, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a lot of fun. I know that we did. And huge thanks to Big Bro Jamal for being here to be our very first guest on the show. This was awesome to have you on here. We had a lot of laughs, a lot of fun. I hope to have you back sometime in the near future, because this was a blast. I hope you had a good time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, guys. And anytime you want me, I will be glad to jump in.
Yeah, thanks for being on, bro.
All right. And that's going to do it for us, because we are out of time. And we are the best Flarking podcast. Nailed it. Kinda. See you guys.
Peace.
Be safe. Have a great week.
Peace.
We'll see you next time.